You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, with us today is Senator Thomas Cotton, and from the great state of Arkansas. And I know a lot of people from Arkansas and a lot of good people in Arkansas. And, Senator, thank you for coming on. It's Labor Day weekend this weekend. Friday night, we're ready to head for the highways and the airplanes. What bothers us the most? A lot. But first of all, that last night, Kamala Harris, give us your analysis.
Well, John, thanks for having me all on again. There are a lot of great people in Arkansas, a lot of great New Yorkers as well. We love New York down here in Arkansas. What we don't love down here in Arkansas is Kamala Harris's interview last night on CNN. The terms of it were preposterous. It went for 18 minutes. She had to have the vice presidential nominee there as a heat shield. They didn't even play it live. It just goes to show that she's dangerously unprepared to be the commander-in-chief. And what's she going to do during her first summit with Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping? Is she going to bring the vice president along with her to jump on any grenades if Putin's mean to her? Is she going to tell Xi Jinping that she has to take a break after 18 minutes to get more talking points from her handlers? But we don't really need that interview, John, to know where she stands. She's told us where she stands. Through 4 years as Joe Biden's wingman, 4 years in the U.S. Senate, and in her own disastrously failed campaign for president in 2020. She wants to decriminalize illegal immigration. She wants to give illegal aliens taxpayer-funded health insurance. She wants to take away health insurance on the job for 170 million Americans. She wants to confiscate private firearms. She wants to ban gas-powered cars and ban hydraulic fracturing. That's who Kamala Harris is, and whatever she hints at 10 weeks before the election on an interview with CNN is simply her effort to hide how radical her positions truly are.
You know what I tell people, Senator? I said, look, I watched the debate, the interview last night. I don't know. Do you think it was edited at all, or you think it just it is what it is?
Well, John, it was plainly edited. We don't know what was left on the cutting room floor. I think it's incumbent upon CNN to post the full video of the interview, or at least a transcript of the interview on its website, so the American people can have confidence that they got the straight story from CNN, that CNN wasn't running interference for the Democrats, as it so often does. But even the material that was aired, again, goes to show that Kamala Harris is the same San Francisco liberal she's always been. What did she say over and over again when addressing her supposed flip-flops? She said, my values haven't changed. That's right. Her values haven't changed. The same values that caused her to want to take away your firearms and ban your gas-powered car and take away your health insurance is what's going to cause her to do that next year if she's elected.
I understand that. And, what I told people this morning, that she has a good smile and she has a nice pantsuit, but it doesn't mean I should hire her to run one of my companies. And I think all the people that are giving money to her and the Democratic parties, and Forbes magazine said that almost every Democratic billionaire has given her at least $1 million. I will ask those Democratic billionaires, would you hire her to run one of your companies?
John, I wouldn't hire Kamala Harris to run the volunteer snack stand at the local Little League, much less running our country or running one of your companies. She is incompetent, and she has been incompetent from the first day of this administration. Just look at the controversy this week on the third anniversary of the suicide bomber at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan. She insisted all along that she was the last person in the room with Joe Biden. She was right there with him when they together decided to conduct that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Kamala Harris is not just an ideologue, she's also incompetent, and that's dangerous for America, dangerous for America's troops, as we saw 3 years ago in Afghanistan.
That Afghanistan withdrawal, I believe almost all his generals that had said something that we don't recommend you do it like that, and President Biden overrode them. Was that true?
Yeah, I believe that's right, John. This is a replay of what happened in 2009 when Joe Biden was the vice president. Secretary of Defense Bob Gates, a great statesman who'd served George Bush as well, really every president, going back to, I think, Nixon, said that Joe Biden was like Chinese water torture on this question, that you've got to withdraw now from Afghanistan, no consideration for the conditions on the ground, no worries about our ability to conduct counterterrorism operations. Every single person in the Obama administration in 2009 opposed that view for the exact reason that you saw in 2021, when his own generals and many of his own civilian appointees also opposed his actions. As President Trump has said, you should have never surrendered the large base that President Trump had planned to use to conduct a safe and orderly withdrawal. It is Joe Biden's insecurity and the chip on his shoulder about Barack Obama not following his advice in 2009 that has a direct line to 2021. And Kamala Harris, as she has said in her own words, was right there with him all along.
And I'll go one step further. If what happened in Afghanistan didn't happen, Putin would not have gone into Ukraine, and 500,000 people would not have died. So I want President Biden to have that on his shoulders, that 500,000 people died in between the Ukraine and the Russian people, that both human beings. They wouldn't have died if Putin wasn't given the confidence after what happened in Afghanistan to go into the Ukraine. And the other thing that I don't understand of my Democratic friends is the fact that Afghanistan, all the women are prisoners now. Before they were free people. Now they have to wear masks and they can't drive and they can't educate themselves. Where are all the Democratic women that believe in women's rights? And you talk about our friends because of what the Red Sea. The Red Sea. That tank, I was on the phone with Admiral Stavridis before, the Red Sea, that tanker, which is 4 times bigger than the Exxon Valdez, is leaking into the Red Sea. And none of the environmentalists are saying, oh, that's wrong. The Houthis, who are controlled by Iran, shouldn't have done that. What say you?
Yeah, John, I think your point is very well taken, that Vladimir Putin was emboldened by the weakness and incompetence that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris showed in Afghanistan. It was only, after all, a few weeks after the collapse of Kabul that Vladimir Putin began to marshal his forces on Ukraine's borders. And I do think you also do a very good job of pointing out the hypocrisy of so many Democrats and liberal media, that they turn a blind eye to what's happened to women in Afghanistan. They turn a blind eye to the massive environmental disaster in the Red Sea, with thousands and thousands of gallons of oil being spilled because you have outlaw rebels backed by Iran who are empowered and emboldened to be shooting missiles at civilian commercial shipping through the Red Sea, or for that matter, shooting them at the U.S. Navy. And Joe Biden refuses to defend our own ships by taking the offensive against those Yemeni rebels. He refuses to protect freedom of navigation by knocking them out on shore, not just waiting until they're in the air and hoping that missile defense systems can knock them down.
Senator, we've said it all. Thank you for coming on this Friday evening. Before Labor Day weekend. Have a great Labor Day weekend. And please, let's pray for America because we need prayers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.